across board, from state to local government levels. That's what they were implementing. So at the time Captain Idris Wada took office, you know, I served in the government of Alhaji Ibrahim Idris, the former governor of Kogi State, that handed over to Captain Idris Wada. And the government of Alhaji Ibrahim Idris, at the exit of that administration, approved the payment of minimum wage across board for all, across board for this, in the state. So based on that, at the time Captain Idris Wada inherited, they took over from that administration, it was difficult for the councils to meet up the exigencies of payment of salaries because the thing has quadrupled. You understand? And Kogi, when you look at that debt profile of about, when I said indebtedness to commercial banks of less than £1 billion, you will not understand it. But it is that figure, somebody hold on. It is that figure because Kogi State is the only state in Nigeria that does not take facility from commercial banks to pay staff salaries.
How do they pay?
That is why you say it is wisdom and prudency. How they pay is simple. That was why they now have to discuss and negotiate with members of the National Union of Local Government Employees. The governor sat them down, sat the workers down, sat the down. I will never allow the government, both the state government, the executive arm and the legislature will not allow you to go and take facility from the bank. What you do, agree with your workers. Yes, you are paying minimum wage. There was a salary figure you were paying before now. Pending when our economy improves. Pay them that figure. The remaining fraction, which is supposed to be based on the minimum wage approval, which is 100% approval for the minimum wage as approved by the federal government. Yes, whenever there is improvement in our revenue as a government, in your revenue as a local government, yes, you can assuage that. So but as it is, you will not borrow a copper to pay.
So are you suggesting then that
yes,
Kogi State's IGR cannot be raised to the extent that you will then get funds to offset those bills?
You see, ordinarily, it takes me somewhere. Ordinarily, in my privileged discussion some time ago, I was looking, I told somebody that, look, the IGR of the state before Captain Idris Wada came to office was far, if I was an embarrassing figure.
What is it now?
As it is now, we in fact, in a month, what accrues to the state is well above 500 to 600 million monthly. It's well above 500 to 600 million. But what it met on ground was, in fact, was less than 100 million naira monthly.
You know,
and you know, Kogi is a civil service state.
Mr.
And not forgetting that at the time this man took over as governor, yet, yes, he was confronted with litigation, which lasted for about 2 years. But there was a natural disaster that happened in Kogi.
Of which they received funds?
They received funds from who? Apart from Aliko Dangote.
No funds from federal government?
Oh dear. You see, apart from Aliko Dangote and a few donor agencies that gave us support as a government, there's something that is happening in Kogi now that you are not aware. Nobody's aware. Not even your cameras have gone to see them. Even the deaf can hear the sound of bulldozers at the river banks. The man is constructing a long embankment of the river Niger to forestall the recurrence of that same surge.
You didn't answer Chamberlain's question. He asked you whether the federal government also gave you funds.
Oh, the funds was meant for building of houses, which was provided.
Was it provided?
Yes, it was provided.
You didn't answer that.
No, it was provided, and the houses have been built, and they have been occupied by the victims of that flood. But you have forgotten that the thing had collateral damage on the infrastructure of the state. You know, Lokoja, let me take Lokoja just as a working hypothesis. Lokoja is a low-plain terrain. It's a low-plain terrain. Any geographer will tell you the topography of that city, for instance. That's the state capital. But at the time, when the state was created, that's why I hear some candidates preparing for the election, mouthing that, oh, they built roads in Lokoja. Yes, you did. But you didn't have the understanding or the knowledge to know that 26 different states pass through Lokoja, the state capital, every day. Over 12,000 vehicles.
I want us to restrict it to the bailout issue.
Yes, I'm still tying it to the bailout. No, Suleiman, I'm still tying it to the bailout. But before I can, you see...
Because by the time we go to that extent, elections are on the way in Kogi State. We don't want to get into all of the mix of all of those campaign issues.
We're looking at the bailout. Ordinarily, we have our funds. We have our funds tied down somewhere. I'll tell you, we have our funds...
Which of the funds?
Oh... If I take 11 billion naira, and I do the compound interest of 11 billion naira, between 2003 and 2015, I will get about 58 billion, 850 million, 750 naira. If you multiply it by the rate of inflation in Nigeria today, you will get an excess of over 100 billion.
Who's holding the money?
Now,
who's holding it down?
The EFCC is an agency of the federal government of Nigeria. Be under the APC says the EFCC, an agency of the federal government of Nigeria. Under the APC.
At what point did they hold down the money?
Since 2002, 2003.
And that's a PDP government holding it down since then.
No.
That was a PDP government.
No, the man in question, the man who purportedly stole the money, have been evading justice by bringing interlocutory injunctions, frivolous injunctions.
No, when you say your money is money is meant for the state, it's been tied down somewhere, and you said
was stolen somewhere.
According
to the EFCC, I'm quoting the EFCC.
No, they are not a court. It's an allegation. It's an allegation. So, and you say the money has been held down somewhere.
Yes.
And you said since 2003. So you can't say it's the government of the day that held it down.
The government of the day, you see, the people of Kogi, for instance, believed and supported the change mantra based on the anti-corruption posture of the leadership of this country, Frank, as put forward by President Muhammadu Buhari.
We need to wrap up. Let me ask you this quickly, because there are many who say and believe strongly that it won't make any sense releasing these funds now, because Kogi State is going for an election. And knowing politics in this, maybe in some areas, these funds may as well just be used for politics. We don't know who's going to win. So isn't it better after the election, whoever wins, Kogi people get your money?
You see, Chamberlain, the truth of the matter is this. We are in a country today where the federal government, as led by the APC, and President Buhari, I want to believe he's not even aware of what they are doing. But we have been speaking, we have been talking. There cannot be different rules for the same situation. If I have made the requirement for release of bailout fund, to pay workers. The bailout fund is not a presidential benevolence. That's why I started with that. It is a facility. And it is a facility that we're going to pay with interest. And if we're going to pay with interest, and when the request was based on the fact that, look, we needed to assuage the pains of our workers. We needed to pay outstanding salary arrears. We needed to pay outstanding pension arrears and all that. If you are using politics to deprive us as a government and as a people, what it means is that you are taking us back to the dark days when the same man who is their candidate, who they are touting and flouting as their candidate. When he said pensioners were deadwoods, when he said civil servants were, as far as this was concerned, were useless. So the issue is the same strategy, is the same methodology, and I want to assure you, my brother, whether they release the bailout funds, we know that the president obviously should use his good office. If not, it is a shame, it is an embarrassment to his government if they don't release it. But if they don't, the Kogi people, the people of Kogi,
thank you very much,
will use their PVC to send them packing.
Frank Shaibu is the Chief Communications Officer to the Kogi State Governor. Thank you for coming on this morning.
God bless you.
We'll be back in a moment. We've got the other perspective to this matter, so don't go away yet.